open doors to curses and demonic intrusion. First, I want to tell you, do not walk in fear, because the demon or curses has no legal right or authority to afflict you. They can attack as they did Yahushua and other apostles, but when they resisted, they were unable to harm them in their life, just like they can't harm you. They closed the door immediately. They knew how to rebuke. That means they knew how to loose, they knew how to bind, they knew how to release, and they knew how to cast out into outer darkness. But you know what? Consecration is the key. Consecration means to be set apart and walk a holy lifestyle. That means being different from everybody else. See, everybody wants to believe in Yahuwah until it starts being biblical. When you start talking about the Bible and how you're supposed to live, then people argue against you and say, no, it can't be this. No, you can't get this. Because a lot of people are arguing with me about watching horror movies and this movie that they're trending, The Deliverance. And so many people are watching this movie and are watching other movies like this, like The Exorcist and Paranormal Experience, all these horror movies, and they're opening up doors that the spiritual realm can come in and attack your mind, your thoughts, your emotions, your will, everything. But if you're not consecrated and you're not living a life of prayer and keeping a word in front of you and led by the Spirit of Yahuwah, that's how the doors open up. So I'm going to give you 7 ways in which demons can have access into your life. Number 1 is a family background in the occult or false religions. A false religion is a religion that denies Yahuwah exists. And I'm also talking about false religions like Buddha, Allah, Catholicism, Jehovah's Witness, Mormonism, anything that don't see Yahuwah as the one true God. And I'm not talking about Caesar Borgia. I'm not talking about the blonde-haired, blue-eyed man. That is the images that everyone has been indoctrinated with. I'm talking about Yahuwah, which is God. He's a spirit, and Yahushua is the son of Yahuwah. I'm talking about the true Yahuwah of the Bible that talks about it in Daniel, talks about it in Revelation, if you want a description, but I'm talking about the true one. Number 2, negative prenatal influences. Parents who were engaged in sinful acts during conception and after. If you're doing things like tarot cards, practicing voodoo, Messianic rituals, sorority rituals, anything to do with the occult, juju, Santeria, spells, love potions, anything like that, that has opened up doors into your life. Number 3, abuses from early childhood, either emotional, physically, mental, and sexually. That's if you've been molested, if you've been SA, if you have done anything, masturbation, if you've done anything that's outside the marriage bed, then it's sin. Number 4, traumatic experience, an accident, sickness, criminal activity, divorce, and perverted observations. Number 5, sinful acts or habits, particularly fornication. By far the number 1 way evil spirits are transferred is through sex. Like I said, having sex before marriage and have multiple partners. Each partner is carrying something, and that's not how Yahuwah created us. He created us to have one wife and one husband, so we can't compare with someone else. Number 6, laying on of hands through false religious ceremonies and dedication as children. Some of these pastors are into homosexuality, lesbianism. They're into any kind of occult, Messianic, different types of a culture. I'm telling you, there's a lot of pastors that are in the marine spirits. They want these powers. They're doing a lot of things, and they're conjuring up a lot of different things, and they're laying hands on people, and they're making people do things like eat grass, crawl on the ground, take their clothes off while they're bathing them in front of the whole congregation. There's a lot of stuff that's going on, and if you blind by it, then you need to wake up, because that's not Yahuwah. That's not the word. And if you see anything like that, run. Number 7, idle words, speaking direct curses over your life or others through undisciplined speaking. You know, the word says there's life and death in the powers of the words that we speak. So if you're speaking anything like, oh, you ain't gonna be no good, you look just like your daddy, he ain't gonna be no good, he's gonna end up in jail just like your daddy, or your mama is, I remember when I was in foster care, and the foster mom used to say, you're going to be just like your mom. She was a street walker. She used to walk on the streets, and every man lusted after her. She was speaking those things into my life. But I thank God that Yahuwah had his hand on me, because I never did any of those things that she even spoke out of her mouth. But I want to tell you, there is one area by far would have been the biggest reason why so many believers today are afflicted, harassed, and tormented by evil spirits, and that is because a lack of sanctification. A lot of believers are not sanctified. They think that just because they go to church, that's enough. They think that, oh, I can have a beer, I can smoke some weed, I can smoke cigarettes. Oh, yeah, I have a live-in girlfriend. We're keeping the monogamous, or a live-in boyfriend. We doing things of the world. And I even saw something like that with Lecrae and a person that he was interviewing with. They want to do everything outside the world and think, oh, Yahuwah understands. He does not understand sin, because he's a holy God, and he cannot be around sin. So I'm telling you, close those doors. Are you listening to secular music? And you got to be careful even with some of these so-called Christian musics and movies. You need to watch them. You need to discern the spirit and test the spirit, because a lot of the evil and occult witchcraft has crept into Christian movies, Christian songs. They're doing rituals with the prayer team. They're doing chants. They're doing all kind of things, and it's not biblical. Test the spirits. If you have certain music in your house, you got certain things that's in your house, you need to go through and see what you need to throw out. Be careful what you receive from family members and people. Anybody that's trying to walk up to you and say, let me touch you, let me hug you, let me pray for you, you need to test the spirit. Don't have nobody walk up on you and do those things, because you don't know what they are into, and they can put a curse on your life, and you walking around with a headache, you walking around with depression, you're walking around with mental anguish. You're walking around. I hear a lot of people say, I got anxiety and I got bipolar. I'm hearing voices. I'm think somebody's following me. Because somebody has said something over your life, and because you're not praying consistently, you're not fasting consistently, you're not calling out to Yahuwah, and there's spiritual warfare that's coming in, because the word says the enemy is coming in to steal, kill, and destroy you. He does not want to see you in the presence of Yahuwah, and he doesn't want you to make it. Consecrate yourself, sanctify yourself, and repent. Turn from your wicked ways, and know that if you're walking in the ways of Yahuwah, he will protect you, because you're truly his son and daughter, because you're obedient to him.